Alright, man, so, man, you know what it is, man. It's the kid that did, man. We special high fashion right now, motherfuckers. Sauced Up Radio, you got to know.
This is OGOZZY, and I'm hanging out at Sauced Up Studios.
What's good, everybody? We're here again at Sauced Up Studios. We got another artist interview today. We had an artist drive down from Bella Vista to come tell the world about himself and all the upcoming projects. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey, my name's OGOZZY, and I'm from the Bentonville, Bella Vista area up in Northwest Arkansas, and we're just hanging out, man. Just doing what's up.
So let's start off, man. Tell us about your early music career and kind of how you got started making music.
So I got started back in high school. I learned to play guitar. I was classically trained in tuba. I was actually part of the brass section.
Okay.
And then from there, I evolved into rap and different things like that. And so one of the first people I met actually in the scene out here, his name's Joe Dirt. Don't know.
Joe Dirt, that's my guy.
Yeah, so Joe Dirt actually hosted Joe Dirt hosted O=1. He also produced probably half the tracks on O=1.
For sure.
And we still talk. He actually got me Warranty on that on there, and then I did do a few things with Freaky Savage, but I don't know if those ever came out.
So it's crazy. I wasn't even expecting you to mention Joe Dirt, but that's a real good partner of mine, man. A talented producer, man.
Yeah, man.
Anytime I go to Cali, I make sure I tap in with him and link up. I went to BT Awards about 2 years ago, and we linked up and, you know what I'm saying, we cooked up. So it's always good seeing Joe Dirt.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since he actually moved to LA, but my brother lives in San Diego, so I really want to go back out there.
Yeah, I mean, he good people, man. That's definitely somebody you definitely want to stay in contact with. So I heard you mention you played the guitar. So what was kind of what drove you to get into hip hop?
Well, my brother actually, he was like, hey man, I know you like this and this and this, but why don't you check out Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller and these other artists that were emerging at the time. And my stoner ass was like, all right, bet. And then I did. And I've always been more of a lyricist. I used to write metal lyrics and things like that, but keeping a band together in Northwest Arkansas is probably the hardest thing you possibly can do. And then we could never find a drummer that wanted to play thrash metal. They always wanted to play something other. So I slowly made that transition over, and then I slowly got put into a more just an environment where rap was more accepted versus the small town I was coming out of, where it was you either listen to country or metal, and there was no in between.
Is there a genre of music that you prefer recording, or is it just kind of hip hop where you kind of found your lane?
I think hip hop is probably my favorite. I like R&B. I really like to do singing stuff, but I don't get those opportunities as much because I don't really write that as much as I do trap. Because that's just kind of the environment that I'm used to, the environment that I grew up in, and things that I related to more were 3 6 Mafia and Wiz and Gucci Mane and people coming out of that general area. And it wasn't until later that I really got into Mac Miller and a lot of those R&B artists. I like A Boogie with a Hoodie. I like Young Boy Never Broke Again. But then again, at the same time, some of the artists I'm listing off that are more soulful go right back into that trap.
For sure.
So
it's definitely when you look at this generation, I don't even call it trap music a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think I call it pain music, especially with a lot of these younger artists like a Young Boy. He kind of fuses singing and rapping, so I kind of call it pain music. But when you making music, kind of what do you see as your style of music? Because I heard you mention Wiz Khalifa, and I heard you.
I'm definitely a mix of pop trap. I'm almost like Wiz, because I can go super hard like Cabin Fever, or I can lighten it up kind of like ONIFC. And so I definitely have that mixed together. It's definitely something I've but I always ask people who do I sound like? What artists can you compare me to? And I have yet to hear someone actually give me a comparison that makes sense.
For sure. So it's stoners, your niche of people that you kind of cater to. You know, every artist has kind of group that they cater to.
I would say that my niche is probably stoner trap. If you smoke a lot, or if you sell any kind of anything, that's probably me. And every once in a while I'll drop a sad song. I've got one called Quarantine in Spanish about to come out either later this year.
So you rapped it in Spanish or
no?
Oh wow! I was about to say that's different.
It's just the name of the song.
Okay.
but it's more poppy. I have a song called "Look at You" with I forgot her name. And I can't remember it, but she went off. And then I had another song with a guy named 7'9", and we did like another like sing-songy kind of song, and like those are things that I slowly am getting back into, but at the same time, like anything that's like poppy or trappy, like that's definitely like my lane.
So talk about your recording process when you're in the booth and you're getting your vibes. How do you vibe? Some people freestyle, some people just go vibe.
Most of the time when I come to the studio to record something, it's written, finished, and rehearsed. So like I usually will get in the booth and I will knock out takes. Like I can knock out a song in like 15 minutes. And it's because before I scrutinize every single thing that I do, there are like 20 songs that I've probably recorded and not released because I am very heavy. I'm very critical of my songs. There are even songs that like I've had people come in to do features for, and I refuse to release because I'm not, either I don't feel that way anymore, or I don't think it's a good song, whether they killed the verse or not, or whether it was just me or not. Like, it may feel unfair to those artists who spent time to do that, but I'm very picky and heavily critical of my music. So like when I go into the booth, everything has to be perfect. When I record, I better be saying it with my chest and not just being kind of like Melatonin. Like if you go listen to my recent 2 releases, 4,000 milligrams and Rango Django, and then you go listen to O=1, you can tell that in O=1 I was a little bit more nervous. It was my first time being in a studio recording like on a professional level, and as that went away and I started to get more comfortable just doing what I do, I started actually, what my brother would say, is putting my chest into it. So instead of just saying my words, I'm now feeling my words.
Absolutely.
And so it's a long process, but usually engineers either love me or hate me because I'll be like, hey, I need to do that again. But it sounded good, but I need to do it again.
And I think that's the better, method. I know people can come in the studio and make good songs just vibing, but to me, I think anytime you have a direction and you know what you want, you make the job easier for the engineer because he's just adding extra sauce to whatever you already know that you for sure solid. Hey, this is the idea that I want. This is how I want the song to go. I just need you to give your input. I may take it, I may not, but I love artists that come in ready, song written. Hey, I'm just here to kind of get my feeling, how I want to actually deliver and run. So I like artists that kind of take that approach.
Yeah, that's kind of my approach. I mean, I've came into, Oh Lord is actually a song that I wrote in a studio that I was like, I wrote the hook and then all of a sudden I was like, I know what I want to say on this. And that's actually off my first album, and that's probably the most solid song off of O=1.
For sure. So where do you do all your recording it?
I've actually jumped out to different studios. I recorded at Stone Ridge Studio. I recorded at Redbeard Studio. I think I recorded at New Wave at one point. I recorded one song there, but I can't remember which song it was. At one point I've been shopping for studios back and forth. When I recorded 4,000 milligrams, I actually recorded that song at 5 different studios before I picked one.
Wow.
And the one that I eventually went with was Stone Ridge. And then from there, I've actually transferred over to Redbeard Sound, and he produced he has mixed and engineered the next 4 singles I'm gonna release, Rango Django being one of them. And then from there, I'm looking kind of like all over, because finding something that can match my sound or my energy is really hard. And it's one of those things where I'm like, you do this great and you do that great, but I need both of them together. And that's really hard to find because, again, I'm very picky about what I do, what I release, who hears it, who sees it. And it all comes down back to marketing, because if I don't have a solid product, then I'm not gonna market it.
So let's get into that. That's interesting that you talk about marketing, because I feel like that's one aspect of the music industry a lot of artists forget. They go in there and they know they want to have the song, they know this is what I want to talk about, but they don't even know how they want to market it. And I've seen your 4,000 milligrams track and how you really geared it towards your niche and making your videos, you know, cater to your audience. You might have, you know, some 420 in your music video, or you might have, you know, rap snacks that go along with something in your video. So just talk about your marketing strategy when you're making music.
So when I'm making music, my marketing most of the time is who's the demographic, what's the age group, and is it male, female, or non-binary? Who am I aiming at this? And what a lot of people want to aim at is the age group they are. They want their peers to understand that, but what a lot of people don't understand is that those aren't the people that are going to make you hot. The people that are going to make you hot are the younger kids. So like one of the biggest hangups I have on 4,000 milligrams, which I never wish I did, was there's a scene where I'm smoking in the back of an Uber on an Audi and I'm like ripping a bong. And because of that scene, I can't market that video on YouTube. I can't push that out. So having the YouTube catch on is a little bit harder than having the song catch on Spotify. And the other thing is marketing isn't just who am I selling it to, who's gonna see it, who's doing that. It's actually putting money behind it. Like I have put more than 5K or more into 4,000 milligrams just to get it to where it is today. And so when it comes to things like that, like I'm aiming for a younger generation, but at the same time also moving up to like people in their 20s, because I don't want people who are young to like catch a vibe and then all of a sudden they're doing drugs or they're doing bad shit. But at the same time, who's gonna play my song on repeat for hours on end?
Right.
They are. Because what did we do when we were kids? I bet I listened to Millie 1,000 times. I bet I listened to Reefer Party by Wiz Khalifa 1,000 times. But now that I'm my age, I'll turn on a song and listen to it twice and be like, all right, what else do I have on this?
What's next? I'm the same way.
Yeah, and so I would say that right now, my demographic, I've only been on TikTok for about a month. I'm almost up to 500 followers. It's more traction than I get on Instagram. It's more traction than I get on Facebook. And so I'm slowly making the transition into the younger generation. And so I'm trying to find ways to do that. So one of those ways would be to just look at what they like. Look at what someone else they listen to is like. I get on Fortnite and I go queue up with random squads and I'll be like, who are your favorite rappers? Why are they your favorite rappers? Oh, you like that? You should listen to me. You'll like this. And so it's slowly, what it is it's hitting targeted categories, but also knowing how to hit them enough to where people aren't going to be like, oh, he only does this. Oh, he only does that. You want this wide niche, and it's really hard to hit. And so like one of those wide niches for me would be people in the trap. That could go any which direction. If you're making money, that could be a kid at a lemonade stand making 20 bucks in a day.
Absolutely.
Or that could be a dude selling a 200K car and they making a shit ton of commission. And so it's really just about building and building and building. And you have to build on top of the platform that you already have. And so right now, all my marketing is I'm trying to keep my videos clean, no half-naked girls, no drugs, no guns. Even if I'm talking about it in the song, you don't want to put that out there, because then what's mom gonna say when she sees her 13-year-old watching?
Absolutely.
That? And so it's just it's a big process, and I think that's really something that a lot of people miss. You can have the image,
for sure.
You can have the hottest song out. I could love everything you're doing, but if you don't show me that you want to push that same single for at least a year, or put at least $1,000 behind the marketing, like I don't care how hot you are, dude, unless you're in the hood, everybody knows your name, everybody knows who you are. And coming from Arkansas, like the one city you could do that in is Little Rock. I don't live in Little Rock, so I have to expand my verses to San Diego, Atlanta, Chicago, York. Those are the main demographics I'm trying to hit, is big cities. Because in the big city, I didn't ever have anything to do but to sit on a porch and listen to music or like go ride bikes. And so it's just it's a whole another world that I think that artists and people who are creative miss out on, because they don't want to get caught up in social media. They don't want it to take up all their time. But at the end of the day, that's what people need to see. They need to know who you are, because like, people usually want to follow you or be a fan of you if they think that you are cool in person. Like if we had never met before and you only know me based off my music and my image that you've seen, my interviews and my music videos, most people would be like, I like that guy. I could hang out with that guy at a party. I could be friends with that guy in real life. Those are the kind of people, that's the kind of thing that you're trying to bring back. Because when people think that, that's when you become their favorite artist.
Absolutely.
Wiz Khalifa, growing up and still now to this day, is one of my favorite artists, because I could definitely see myself sitting in a room, cutting up with Wiz Khalifa and just smoking tree and hanging out and never talking about music once, and still being like, you're one of my favorite dudes.
And I think it's relatability, you know, going back to what you were talking about, marketing, you know, you definitely have to be careful. I mean, I know you said you don't put guns and stuff, and I think a lot of artists are so caught up in the music that they don't even think about brand deals, modeling deals, commercial deals, and you can mess up your image sometimes trying to play, you know, the gangster role or the trap, or feel the trap scene to the fullest. And it's like, well, you may get this crowd of people over here that like this music, but you also cut yourself off of a true source of income. Because I think a lot of people get caught up with social media following, where, hey, I do want 1 million followers, and it's like, well, I'd rather have this 5,000 over here that actually buy and spend money with me than this group of people over here that like me for this lifestyle that I'm really not even living, but I'm portraying on Instagram. So, you know, I think you're really ahead of the curve, because a lot of artists don't take that business, you know, route. And it's a business. You know, some people get caught up with the attention of it, but it's a business.
Yeah, and having those 5,000 people, if each of those, so say one person tells 2 people, and then those 2 people tell 2 people, and then those 2 people, that's how you get the cone effect. That's how everybody starts spreading out, and you start getting more followers that you don't see. I have 3,000 followers on Instagram. I've got 500 followers on TikTok. I may have 1,000 followers on my Facebook page. But at the end of the day, those are the people that are pushing all my streams to what they are right now. And then I pay for marketing on Spotify. I pay for marketing on YouTube. I have a couple different people that we run these things through. And as we run them through, that's what's going to gain you more followers. All my TikTok followers are straight up from me posting a post of me reacting to my song being on the radio, because DJ Virgil Boggs hit me up for new music. I gave him an edited version. He put it up. I have Twitch, so I was streaming it on Twitch. And as my song comes on, I do this big reaction, because it's the first song I've had on the radio in a year or 2. And after that, that reaction got 2-3K plays. I'm like, so if it's organically doing that already, and I only have 16 followers on TikTok, I'm gonna promote that post. I've put probably $100 maybe into TikTok, and I've already got 500 followers. So just think, if I amplify that by $500, $1,000, it's going to start building up. And what record labels are going to go, and they're like, most record labels, what a lot of people don't know is that most record labels, they're going to bring you in. You're going to be like, I got this hot song, I got all these unreleased songs, I've got this, I got that. But they're going to look at your social media following, and they're going to be like, so why aren't you viral yet? If you've got all this, why should we give you money? Why aren't you viral? If you have it figured out, why do you need us? And so that's what I think a lot of people miss, is like, you could go into a record meeting, which I have, and they won't even listen to your song. They don't care about the music. Mm-hmm. They care about who's buying your product, who's listening to your product, and how are they going to be able to market you if they give you this money. And then if they give you a 360 deal, guess what? They're not marketing you. They're saying, go do it yourself.
Absolutely.
You already went viral, do it again. And someone who I think was a master of that for a while was 6ix9ine, and then another person who is even like newer and really good at it is NLE Choppa. NLE Choppa does not have an Instagram page. NLE Choppa does not have a Facebook page that he runs. Neither of those two. But NLE Choppa is one of the biggest people you'll see on TikTok, and he runs his own TikTok. And people going viral is definitely part of the step, but also building that organic following too.
Absolutely.
If someone says, "Hey man, you're gonna get this many streams off this song," don't pay for it. If they're gonna say, "Hey, we're gonna put you on these playlists," sure, that'll work, because those aren't guaranteed streams. We'll guarantee you this many amount of followers. Well, those are probably all bots, versus, "Hey man, we can maybe get you this many views, we can maybe get you this many followers. Here's the traction we picked up off of other things." And it's step by step by step. But if you don't have like your paperwork correct, if you don't have your vision ready, if they can't see the reason why, then you just got to keep pushing. Like, and a lot of people are always like, "Oh, they're hating on me. Oh, they aren't seeing this. Oh, they aren't seeing that. Why do I even do this?" How much money did you put behind that record? How much time did you spend sharing that record before you released another one? Like, why? I released 4 songs in a year one time. 4 of my singles: Ice Cream, Teddy, Riding, and there's one more that I released. And it's all within about 365 days time. I pushed them and pushed them and pushed them. I got a couple thousand plays off of each one. I was like, something's wrong here. Something's not working. So I sat down and I looked back. And if you go look through popular artists that are just started popping or just doing this and that, they're gonna pop off with one song, get signed, and not release anything for a year. Look at Boogie with a Hoodie. He had Drownin' and then didn't do anything for a while, and then he had Me and My Guitar, 3 other songs that were super popping because he had a record label to push those 3 singles with him. Versus if I'm a solo artist, I don't really have a team behind me. You've got to push that one single as hard as you can for a whole year. And I think there's a lot of disconnect in things where, like, I'm very knowledgeable, and I think a lot of it comes back to, like, I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of people don't mess with me. And I don't know if it's because I've surpassed, like, kind of being local. Like, I opened for No Plug after like a few years, and it's just slowly like a building process. And if you don't start building the right way, your foundation's all messed up. If you build a house on bad foundation, it's gonna collapse. Absolutely. And so that's what I've been trying to do, and I feel like I've laid this foundation and it's solid, and now it's building up like 4,000 milligrams as over 100K. Rango Django after a month is almost to 2K. But it's went from 5 plays a day to 10 plays a day to 80 plays a day to 200 plays a day. Might dip down to 150, might go back up. And you have to watch those things, because if you don't, then you're not gonna understand why my song's not working, why my analytics aren't right. And it's a gamble, and everything you do is a gamble, but you can load those dice so that way you're always shooting 7s and 11s.
Absolutely. And I think the one part that I'll take away from everything you're saying is you have a business plan for your music.
Yeah.
It's not just, I'm gonna go get in the booth and drop a song. And I feel like that is the plan for 90% of artists that jump in the game. Hey, I'm gonna go in here and record me an EP, and then I'm gonna drop me another song. Hey, then I got 10 more. And I tell artists, why are you recording that many songs? You don't even have people listening. And this is no disrespect. This is just me being truthfully honest. Why do you continue to make hundreds of songs, and the one song that you do have doesn't even have 1,000 people? And it goes back to what you're saying about, like, people they see what they see on Instagram and they see the end result.
Yeah.
But they want to skip the process of how they got to the end result.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I want to go viral, but I don't want to put no money behind it. I don't want to pay no interviewers. I don't want to pay for any write-ups as me or the publicist. I don't want to go to events that aren't my events just to support artists. Like, there's so many ways and things outside of recording the music that I totally agree that artists forget. They just get caught up with, hey, I got a song and I'm gonna record another song and that's it. So, bro, your time's coming. You know, I'm just sitting here listening to what you're saying, and everything you're saying is stuff that I preach to my own artists about. Hey, you gotta understand that it's a journey. You're not gonna start an LLC or any business and the first year you're gonna hit $1 million. You gotta look at it like that. You're gonna take a couple of L's.
Yeah.
You know, I think about my studio. You know, I had my studio for 6 years, but the first 3 years, I was barely even able to pay my rent. You know, but now I'm looking now, 4 or 5 years later, and I'm able to charge $100 and pocket some. So it's the process, bro. Like, stick to your process. And I think another thing that artists need to do is have their own personal goals. You know, I think so many times they look at other artists going viral, and that's what they see and want, but they don't do the process and understand.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get frustrated. One thing is like, this is hard for me to say, but artists shouldn't have to support other artists, and it's the weirdest thing, because everybody's like, hey bro, you support me, I'll support you. Hey, you support me, I'll support you. Those are not your fans, bro. Other artists are not your fans. All right, they see you and they say, I have to compete for other people's ears for you. But what I know about my playlist is that it's not 42 Doug all the way through. It's multiple artists going through. And so everybody sees that and they're like, we should do this and we should do that and we should do this. And I feel like you've got to reach the people that aren't artists. Most of the people who are like my biggest fans, I met on Fortnite. They used to cut my hair. They are other creatives that like do art, but they're not other rappers. They're not other musicians. They're people who are everyday average people that want to listen to something that they relate to. And so that whole like artists meeting other artists. Now I'm not saying don't go to other artists' shows. Go to other artists' shows, network, meet people. Networking is 95% of how you get connections with people. That's how you meet and get people to understand who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. But don't say another artist is hating on you just because they won't share your song. That's their platform. They're trying to get their platform popping just like you're trying to get yours. But the people who are fanboying or girling or whatever over you are going to be people who aren't other artists. And so like that's all something I see in Arkansas all the time. It's like, I'm an artist, you're an artist, let's support each other. I was like, how about I'm an artist, you're an artist, let's make a song together and promote it. And so that's like, I may not be popping, but I charge a feature price usually of like 150. People are like, why? It's usually $75 to record the song because I can usually do it in an hour. And then the other $75 is I'm gonna go throw that at my marketer. And then I'm gonna expect you to match that $75 so we can at least get that song a couple thousand plays. I don't wanna make a song with somebody like I have in the past and have them not drop it on their social, have them not drop it on this and that. And people are like, but you just said you shouldn't have to support other artists. I'm saying support your collaborations. Support the things you do together, because those things are going to build up together. When you don't see NBA YoungBoy posting Waka Flocka's new song, all right? But you're probably gonna see NBA YoungBoy post Tyler Creator's new song that has him on it, because What's Her Name is a great song. And if you support that, and so like one thing I take away from like, if you're gonna work with like, if you're gonna pay a feature price with a major artist or a semi-major artist that's coming up out of the game, you better have it in your contract that they drop it on their socials and they do not take it off. That they have to announce it before you do. That it should be an all-inclusive thing together. Because if I'm paying NBA YoungBoy, or if I'm paying YoungBoy, if I'm paying any major artist to get on one of my songs, well then it better be in the paperwork that they drop in it as well. Because I'm not about to pay a feature price, put a song up, and hope that it goes somewhere because somebody's got a name. And so it's like, it's a foundation, and then you build up on it, and then you're like, okay, this can get me like 3 more floors up if I do this. But it's only gonna do that if they sign off on it, if they agree that it's a hot song, or if they agree to do something with you.
See, we had so much good information, man. I definitely got to come through and get another interview with you, because I feel like you gave a lot of perspectives that most new artists don't even really think of, you know. And it's different when you hear it from somebody that's outside not making music. You know, me being a producer and me being an engineer, but to hear it from somebody that they see making music and being an artist and doing the things that they want to do, I feel like sometimes, especially this younger generation, they soak it up when they can see the proof in the pudding, or see the person or doing the things that they want to do. So again, OG, I really appreciate you popping up and stopping by.
Hey man, anytime, man. I'm just here trying to like do everything everybody else does, man. Hang out and have a good time, but at the same time, like, let's learn to be successful together and not skip steps, because that's the only thing we possibly can do is build correctly, because if you don't build correctly, like I said, it's gonna collapse.
So before we go, man, make sure you shout out your social media and give a shout out to anybody you want to holler at before we go.
Alright, so first off, shout out Javo Record. That's my marketer. He's dope as shit. If you guys ever need, like, just hit me up. I'll get you guys linked up. He's cool. Second, it's at OGOZZY, OGOZZY on Instagram. On TikTok, though, it's where I've transitioned mostly. It's Blame Ozzy, BLAMEOZZY. And then my YouTube is also Blame Ozzy, because I've slowly transitioned over to that name for any of my like media and things like that. So, but that's really where you can find me, is mainly TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
Well, for sure. Again, man, I appreciate you coming by, and I thoroughly enjoyed this interview. It's probably one of my favorite interviews as far as like relatability, because I'm just sitting over here nodding my head like, yeah. he got me. So
I just got, hey man, I gotta give it to him, because like, I always hear like in my interviews that I do, Ozzy, what's your favorite type of cannabis? Ozzy, let's get to know you better. And I'm like, I feel like everybody kind of knows me from my songs, because I'm never gonna put out anything that's not me. And so like, when I get a chance to talk music or like industry or things like that, man, it gets me so excited.
Sure. Well, man, we might have to look into trying to do some type of conference to really, you know, do something different and network and try to make something happen in the area.
All right, sounds good, man. I'm always down.
Well, definitely, if you're listening, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll be locked in. Appreciate you.